Most people live paycheck to paycheck, not because they don't make enough, but because they've never learned how the 1% manage their money. Here's the truth. The rich don't think in terms of earning more. They think in terms of allocating smarter. And if you follow this simple model, 15% spend, 60% invest, 25% save, you'll never be broke again. This video isn't about hustle. It's about how to make the most of the money you already earn. Let's break the cycle and finally take control. The money problem most people ignore. Most people follow the wrong formula: earn, spend, save what's left. Sound familiar? They get paid, cover bills, buy groceries, spend on a few things to feel better about a long week, then look at what's left. And if there's anything left, maybe they save. That's not wealth management, that's financial survival, and it's a trap. Here's what the 1% does differently. They invert the order. Before anything else, they decide how their money works for them. They don't wing it, they don't hope. They follow a structure, and it starts with paying themselves first, but not randomly, strategically. The 15-60-25 formula explained. Let's break it down. 15% spend. This is your lifestyle. Rent, food, phone bills, subscriptions, fuel, fun. Everything fits in here. If that sounds tight, it should. Because the 1% don't build their life around comfort. They build it around clarity. They don't overspend today and hope to fix it later. They sacrifice upfront to unlock real freedom later. This isn't deprivation, it's intention. Invest. This is the engine. More than half of their income goes into assets that grow. Stocks, index funds, real estate, startups, digital products, intellectual property. This is how they win. They don't just make money from work, they make money from decisions they made years ago. You don't have to be a millionaire to start, but you'll never become one if you don't. 25%. Save. Rainy day fund, emergency buffer, opportunity fund. This is the part nobody talks about because it isn't flashy, but it's what protects you from starting over every time life gets hard. This 25% creates peace of mind, and that peace is what allows you to take smart risks and stay focused long term. The average person versus the 1%. Imagine two people earning the same income, let's say $5,000 per month. Person A spends $4,000, saves $500, and invests $500. Person B follows the 15-60-25 rule, $750 for spending, $3,000 invested, $1,250 saved. Now, fast forward 3 years, who do you think is ahead? It's not about how much they make, it's how they move their money. Person B doesn't have more discipline, they just have a system that does the heavy lifting. Why most people can't do this, and how you can. So why doesn't everyone follow this? Because most people are not broke because of income. They're broke because of impulse. They don't need a bigger paycheck, they need a better system. And more than that, they need a mindset shift. Most people try to change their spending without changing their thinking. They wake up in survival mode, swipe the card, pay the bills, repeat. They spend to feel in control, or worse, to feel seen. They take advice from broke friends, follow trends, and call it living. And when the money runs out, they blame the system, not their strategy, but the 1%. They live in another reality. They don't guess. They track every dollar like it's a soldier. They don't reward emotion. They delay gratification. They don't hope to save. They automate their money. They don't spend to look rich. They spend to buy time. They don't chase trends. They think long, not fast. They aren't rich by accident. They train like athletes. Disciplined, deliberate, obsessed with progress. They don't just look at their bank account. They study it. They review it weekly. They adjust. They plan for problems before they happen. They own their finances, not the other way around. And here's the best part. You don't need millions to think like this. You just need to decide who's in control, you or your money. How to start, even if you're broke. Let's make this real. Let's say you make just $300 a month. That's barely enough to survive for many people. But here's what it looks like using the 15-60-25 model. Spend $45, save $75, invest $180. Sounds impossible? Then adjust it. Spend 20%, save 30%, invest 50%. You're not doing this to be perfect. You're doing this to train your brain, because you don't get rich from big checks. You get rich from small habits repeated consistently. This isn't about wealth. It's about wiring. You're teaching your future self how to behave when the stakes are higher. You're building the muscle of control. You're creating proof that you can live below your means and above your mindset. Set up auto debits. Let the 15% spending be guilt-free. Let the 25% savings build your armor. Let the 60% investing start to compound your discipline. Even if the numbers are small, the pattern is priceless. Because $1 invested now is worth more than $5 invested next year, not just because of returns, but because of who you become in the process. From time to ownership, the wealth shift. Most people trade time for money, that's a job, but the 1%, they trade money for money, that's wealth. Every dollar they save or invest becomes a soldier, fighting for their future. Eventually, they stop working for money and start letting money work for them. It's not about being born rich, it's about buying freedom over time. Start where you are and keep your eyes on ownership, not just income. You don't need to be rich to act like the rich. You just need to think like them. Follow the 15-60-25 formula. Make it non-negotiable. Make it automated. Make it part of your identity. Because here's the truth, if you don't learn to manage your money will always manage you. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Don't wait for your next raise. Start now with what you have. Wealth isn't a number, it's a system, and you can build it one smart choice at a time. Subscribe for more money truth. Comment, I'm ready if you're done being average.